Yamama kwa babio edeba the voice GH so ebraso say ye sama hodwa yensaka edeba bro yebesre say ubetimi a subscribe ede amayen na wa share na wa leave a comment or the comment section for ede amayen na wa boa na abusua no so anyini ekononim they say ye operation 5 million subscribers operation 5 million subscribers iti boa na adwuma no ekononim empamayen ene sama hodwa yensaka no bakwa edimu akotene ene se yanchai ena Ghana ha enchinwa show epejae ema na hosome no so ewo eye LGBTQ eye nkofui lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender ene queer reform nsi huna na omudi ena ekoba se amaya hodo a wo mo abibima mu ha bebre so soreti ai na omumu baako na edimu akotene a wo soreti ai pa enso Uganda na uko Uganda mwemwa president a yefene Yoweri Kaguta Museveni Uganda president enso soreti ai ema yehye koten edito so se wa wo do ho be fore LGBT mu no ye nchonto ni ntwauti nkunkura mfiwiase na samra no beto dwa no na amama ahodo akese no womo eboa omanyini na mopoa ye sikasemu no bi ese womo ne papa ne nyaadwene na enam so ma World Bank krase se sa papa na timi afa sa adwene no dia na ho behia se ho hia se omopoa anase omo sponsor Uganda e sikasemu bi emu ti free na kro enya de se womo ebetimi di womo pani na omo sika botene ba kokra e de aboa Uganda na sa ansem no etimi kopie mu ewo my Ghana mu na eno ena ene LGBT hunsensema Speaker of Parliament era Agbanu Babi enso ebeka se enzida se wono Speaker of Parliament na ye beje LGBTQ atum na ekowie se Ghana mampani na nado nanko Akufo-Addo o se ade yo na akoka se wono ebebie na no aka se yenyi tum anase ye beje atum na ho nchi no ahyew ekrama ene America mampani na bedi achiri ba ko ebai wono so etimi ebekeka ho nsem beye bibre nipa no a no beka asasem wo ba na ne community blame di nachi na oba Ghana enso no oba no obehye se ke yenye LGBTQ entum ene ye wo horomo na yekobo pie mu ewo France mampani Emmanuel Macron na so ye ebra obepie mu Ghana na wone na nado danko Akufo-Addo share ya omudidi nkomo ano ko rezi se enkayenje LGBTQ no entum ne sebe ya France for ebetimi aboa Ghana ewosikasemu ene niema yebehia bia mu na nado danko Akufo-Addo etwen ma France mampani kana no disemi na wie na wie no ensem na nado danko Akufo-Addo ka kire no I don't think so obo be na mfobi ofiri hakwa menya hweso be kora obeba Ghana bi na mode muni momeyenko ni enkoti nsem na nado danko Akufo-Addo e ka kire France mapani.
I hope that the comments I'm about to make will not offend the questioner too much and some people around here. I think there is a fundamental misstatement of the issue in the question. We can no longer continue to make policy for ourselves, in our country, in our region, in our continent, on the basis of whatever support the Western world or France or the European Union can give us. It will not work. It has not worked, and it will not work. Our responsibility is to charter a path which is about how we can develop our nations ourselves. It is not right for a country like Ghana, 60 years after independence, to still have its health and education budgets being financed on the basis of the generosity and charity of European taxpayers. By now, we should be able to finance our basic needs ourselves. And if we are going to look at the next 60 years as a period of transition, a period whereby we can stand on our own feet, our perspective has not to be what the French taxpayer decides to do with whatever surpluses that they have in France. They're welcome. They are appreciated. Whatever interventions that the French taxpayer through their governments make to us are appreciated. We're not going to let a gift horse in the mouth. But this continent, and with all that has happened, is still today the repository of at least 30% of the most important minerals of the world. It's a continent of vast, arable, and fertile lands. It has the youngest population of any of the continents in the world. So it has the energy and the dynamism. We've seen it. These young men who are showing so much resilience and ingenuity in crossing the Sahara, finding ways to go across with rickety boats across the Mediterranean to really, those energies, we want to have those energies working inside our countries. And we're going to have those energies working in our countries if we begin to build systems that tell the young people of our country that their hopes, their opportunity are right here with us. Migration and the movement of people is being presented in a manner which suggests that somehow it's a new phenomenon. There's nothing new about it. It's as old as man, the movement of people. And it has always been linked to the same thing. The failure of where you are to provide you with an opportunity, so you move somewhere else. Those of you who are familiar with 19th century European history would know that the biggest wave of immigration in 19th century Europe, the latter part of it, came from Ireland and from Italy. Waves upon waves, generations of Italians and Irish people left their countries to seek the American paradise, largely because Ireland was not working, Italy was not working. Today, you don't hear it. Italian young people are in Italy. Irish young people are in Ireland. We want young Africans to stay in Africa. And how are they? And it means that we have to get away from this mindset of dependence. This mindset about what can France do for us. France will do whatever it needs to do for its own sake. And when those coincide with ours, tant mieux, as the French people say. But our main responsibility as leaders, as citizens, is what we need to do to grow our own countries. What are the institutions at work that would allow us to have good governance, to have accountable governance, to make sure that the monies that are placed at the disposal of leaders are used for the interests of the state and not for those of the leaders, to have systems that allow for accountability, that allow for diversity, that allow for people to be able to express themselves and contribute to fashioning the public will and the public interest. Our concern should be with what do we need to do in this 21st century to move Africa away from being cap in hand and begging for aid, for charity, for handouts. The African continent, when you look at its resources, should be giving monies to other places. We have huge wealth on this continent, in our own country of Ghana. And we need to have a mindset that says, we can do it. Others have done it. We can also do it. And once we have that mindset, we will see it as a liberating factor for ourselves. We keep talking about how it was that Koreans, Malaysians, Singaporeans, who got their independence at the same time as us. We're told of that at the time of Ghanaian independence, per capita Ghanaian income was higher than that of Korea. Today, Korea is part of the first world. So is Malaysia. So is Singapore. What happened? Why did they make that transition? And 60 years after independence, we are where we are. Those are the matters that should concern all of us as Africans, as Ghanaians. And not, when I say so with the greatest of respect to the French president, I think that the cooperation of France is something that I am, as you know, a strong friend of France. I am Francophile, so I don't have any difficulty with that. but I'm talking about our own propulsion, what we need to do to get our countries to work so that we can create the conditions that would allow our young people to forego this hazardous effort to get to Europe. They're not going there because they want to. They're going there because they don't believe they have any opportunities in our countries. So that should be our focus. And I believe that with that if we change that mindset of dependence, that mindset which is contingent on aid and charity, we would see that in the decades ahead of us, the full flowering of the African peoples will take place. And that new African personality that was talked about at the time of our independence will become real and imminent in our time. That's what I'm saying. I hope that I'm not upsetting the questioner or even some of my friends who are here. But these are my strongly held beliefs. And that is the reason why I've adopted as the slogan of my presidency, of my period of the Supreme Office of Ghana, that we want to build a Ghana beyond aid, a Ghana which is independent, which is self-sufficient, that is capable of standing on its own feet and building its own life. We can do it if we have the correct mindset to do so. Mr. President, those are my contributions.
Someone another now for the catcher, so what's it? When your friend is a leader, when your friend except for your company, when and a yepe, so be due on my son, now on mine and letting me acquire. The Dominion must say, the best I said, will comment section. Now, wait to me the comments number, now operation 5 million subscribers. No, you're setting the Addo. You go so I acquire also subscribe. If I may also subscribe, I enjoy couple and answer about subscribe button. So, and their mind now be also any money in the economy. Aha, the voice GT so.